I spent 40 years building an empire, convinced that my wealth was the only legacy that mattered. But as I lay in this cold, sterile hospital room at 75, I realized that my millions couldn't buy a single hand to hold. I was Richard Sterling, the man who had everything, yet as the monitors beeped my life away, I was utterly alone. My only companion being a quiet, masked nurse who had been taking care of me for 2 years, without saying much more than, "It's time for your medicine." Driven by the crushing weight of my approaching end, I grabbed her hand one evening and begged her to find my long-lost daughter Maya, whom I had abandoned 20 years ago for a promotion in London. "Tell her I'm sorry," I choked out through my oxygen mask. "Tell her I left all my wealth to her in my will, and that my biggest regret was choosing gold over her laughter." I expected the nurse to take notes or call a lawyer, but instead she froze, her eyes filling with a sudden, violent storm of tears, as she slowly reached up and pulled down her surgical mask. My heart nearly stopped when I saw the familiar curve of her jaw and the exact shade of my own amber eyes staring back at me with a mix of pity and pain. "I've been right here for 700 days, Dad," she whispered, her voice trembling like a leaf in the wind. "I didn't want your money, and I didn't want your empire. I just worked every double shift in this ward, hoping that just once you would look at the woman changing your bandages and recognize your own blood." I looked at her, truly looked at her for the first time, and realized that while I was searching for her in private investigators, my only companion being a quiet, masked nurse who had been taking care of me for 2 years, without saying much more than, "It's time for your medicine." I tried to speak, to beg for one more day, one more hour to be a father, but the monitors began their long, continuous drone, and as the darkness closed in, the last thing I felt was her warm hand in mine, finally forgiving a man who had realized the value of his life only when it was already over. This is Silent Grudges. Don't spend your life looking at the stars and forget to cherish the light in your own home.